It's CashColorCannabis, a high-level conversation on live hiphopdaily.tv. And I'm here by myself because, as you know, we dropped the 4th episode of our series, Black on Green, today. And I love the reception already. Matter of fact, shout out to everybody who's been streaming the show, leaving comments online, sharing it. It's just been a real dope experience because this is the first time I put together something long form like that. And, you know, I really appreciate y'all doing that. So we've been dropping that every Tuesday. So rather than having individual episodes, I've been coming up here and doing news bits in between, you know what I'm saying, to the final episode. The 5th episode goes up next week. So tonight I want to talk to y'all about what happened on 420 with Dutchy, and I want to get into my man Carmelo Anthony fully getting into the weed game. Shout out to Jesse Horton and Loud for that. So let's get into the first topic, which is Dutchy going down. 3 strikes and you're out, my boy. 3 days ago, cannabis consumers across the world celebrated 420, as many of you know. I was one of them, but I celebrate 420. I don't want to be that guy. Let me shut up. I celebrate 420 every day. But people are celebrating 420. But aside from the many parties and concerts that was popping up over the day across the country, many last-minute shoppers found themselves out old luck. If you were trying to take advantage of some of the 420 specials that were going on at a lot of the dispensaries, you easily ran into a bunch of problems. Per MJ Biz Daily, marijuana retailers using the Dutchy e-commerce systems reported widespread outages on April 20th. And this is not just on MJ Biz. Actually, I found out about it on social media. I just happened to be on LinkedIn one day, and a bunch of people was cussing out Dutchy. And I was like, what did Dutchy do to y'all today? But apparently Dutchy left some of y'all without some money. One outlet in particular, Pure Cannabis Outlet in Michigan, store workers reported that the Dutchy POS system crashed for 5 hours. That meant people couldn't do no purchases. They couldn't do you couldn't do pickups. You couldn't do nothing. You have people out here trying to use calculators and stuff to calculate what the prices were. And you know, that's when you realize how quick people can't use their calculators no more either, because everything is so automated like that. But yeah, it was super crazy, man. And the worst part was, like I mentioned, it even got worse on social media. Like, so many people were ready to take down the MJ award-winning company for this last-minute disaster that happened. And it's not their first time. Apparently, this is their 3rd time where this happened on 420. So I'm like many other people. I'm more shocked y'all weren't prepared for this at this point. The first time, I can get it. The second time, maybe. When we get to the 3rd time, it's almost like, are you paying attention? This is a day that a lot of people are betting on making real money. So you should really be prepared. Dutchy did drop a response. Let me read their response to y'all. Their response is this. This year's 420 was a record-setting day for a majority of Dutchy-powered dispensaries. Notice they said a majority because they understood the vibe here. Our systems powered over 2 million transactions, representing $165 million in retail commerce, which is actually a 50% increase from 2023. And they go on to say, while Dutchy and our partners prepared extensively for this year's 420, a group of customers local to specific instance of POS system experienced serious issues that impact their ability to transact. Excuse me. They went on to say that Dutchy is committed to stability and will continue to invest heavily to provide a reliable platform for all customers. Now, I can't be the only person who read that, saw that message and thought, that's hella tone deaf. Like, for you to be celebrating the people who were able to, when there was folks who was losing real life money, like real life money. Like there was one dispensary, I believe, is in Missouri, that said they lost over close to about $80,000 across all their stores. Like, that's a lot of money to some people. Some people is betting on this for real, because once 420 go. It's not like people don't still come by, but it was a specific reason for people to come by. It's almost like Christmas for cannabis. So some of them was really ready for this to be a real thing. And also it was a great time for a lot of activists to jump in and say this is time for real reform on an industry level, especially on a federal level, and to open up more actual banking and payment options for cannabis businesses like dispensaries. So let's see where this goes. I thought that it was such an interesting story to wake up to on 420, 421, and 422, and actually in 423, because they still ain't letting up on Dutchy. Like, Dutchy is not getting any space to breathe. Like, every time they come outside, strays are getting shot. Speaking of shots, man, shout out to my boy Melo. Melo is officially in the game. Basketball legend Carmelo Anthony has officially joined the cannabis industry. It was announced on 420 that Mello will be launching his Stay Mellow Cannabis. It's the first brand to be launched under the umbrella of his new cannabis-focused agency called Grand National that will be built with, shout out to my boy Jesse, Loud Cannabis CEO and founder Jesse Horton, and Chief Creative Director Brandon Drew Jordan Pierce, excuse me. Whether you know it or not, Mello has been a connoisseur of the plant. I didn't personally know that. I assumed it, but I don't want to put something on somebody if they, I just assumed it, but I didn't know he really was that guy. But apparently he's been a big consumer of the plant. Mello said in an interview with Forbes, "I was always into the benefits and the science and the education of cannabis. Over the years, I was studying it, paying attention to the industry, seeing where it was going, the trajectory, and taking feedback. Given all my research," he said, "why not do it? Talking about the benefits of cannabis, ways to consume, and how to consume." So his brand is in partnership with, again, like I mentioned, my boy Jesse Horton and Loud, who are known for producing high quality, top shelf flower. Shout out to, I think that's an amazing venture that they're jumping into. You really gotta applaud them. And it was almost like, again, this is something that popped up on social media. It was almost like, I like the way they rolled it out because it was real subtle. It wasn't like they just dropped a bunch of posters that said, "Yo, Mello's now in weed." They were real subtle. As a matter of fact, when I started seeing them, I was like, "What's Carmelo doing?" And then you finally figured out it was this, and I was like, "Oh, that's super dope." Going on in Forbes, according to Forbes, Anthony is actually really hands-on when it comes to the grow. He works closely with the cultivation team and tests genetics for his line. He was introduced to Jesse when he first moved to Portland, back when he was playing for the Portland Trailblazers, through a mutual friend. So Stay Mellow will be on shelves at 2 native-owned and black-owned dispensaries in Oregon, Native Wonders and Green Muse. Shout out to Green Muse. That's a place I definitely want to visit one day. It's been on my bucket list for a little while. And I see myself going to Portland, hopefully by the end of this year. So if I get a chance to go to Portland, I'm definitely going to stop by Green Muse. Following its inaugural launch, these shops will be the first to carry Stay Mellow Cannabis. Horton and Carmelo both mentioned that this was done on purpose in order to seek and uplift disproportionate number of cannabis businesses nationwide that are owned by minorities. Overall, this is a big move for Mello, and I'm sure a lot of NBA players are watching. As you know, last year the NBA announced that as part of its new collective bargaining agreement, players can now only consume, but also invest in cannabis brands while currently playing, which is a monumental move by any sports league, to be honest with you. So to see somebody like Mello, who is, I guess now officially retired, getting into the business full on, I'm sure he's inspiring a lot of people either who are playing currently or who are on the last legs of their career to think about, is this going to be another shot for me to, is this going to be another good business opportunity for me? So again, shout out to Jesse, shout out to the Loud, shout out to Carmelo. I think that's a major I think that's a major opportunity that they just opened up for a lot of people, and I wish them nothing but luck. So going back to Black on Green, episode 4 dropped today, which is called Hip Hop Did It, Representation Matters, and Fighting the Algorithm. For this episode, we discussed the impact that hip hop culture has had on cannabis culture, how the depiction of what a cannabis consumer looks like has changed over time, especially through movies and film, and the fight that cannabis content creators have with social media. And that last one was dear to my heart. Like, if you listen to the episode, you're gonna hear my emotion when it comes to just basically putting posts on social media and going through so many hoops and ladders with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. when it comes to and especially YouTube, let me not leave them out, when it comes to what they consider legal and illegal. And to give you a taste of what we talk about, when I do get into the conversation about social media, I mentioned about how last year Stripe banned me from taking sales for the magazine. They said what I was doing was promoting illegal drug use and drug sales. At the same time, Cash App made me change my name for the exact same reason. And then later, YouTube shut me down for 2 weeks from posting online because they said one of the videos I posted again was promoting illegal drug use and drug sale. Now, during this time, though, crazy story about this whole YouTube thing. During this time, I'm watching YouTube and an ad popped up. It was a 60-second ad that popped up for a brand called Mood Cannabis. Mood Cannabis had a full-on, fully produced commercial that was running on Facebook through sponsored, paid ads. And I remember seeing this ad at that moment and wondering to myself, What is the difference between what they're doing in this commercial, where they're openly talking about consuming weed, consuming gummies, consuming flour, and the issue that you had with me, where in my video, they showed me the exact moment they said that I violated policy. It was a 23 seconds into a 48-second clip where somebody mentions the word, "I like the plant." Yeah, for real. They showed it to me. So I was like, so that moment right here, the 23-second mark, is what told y'all I can't post for 2 weeks. But at the same time, I'm clearly watching a paid ad for a cannabis brand on your same platform. Like, make it make sense. So it was great to have those kind of conversations, and shout out to everybody who contributed to this episode. My friend Tamika Drew with Beco Farms, Jeanette Ward with New Leaf Project. New Leaf Project is also tied into the Stay Mellow brand as well. BIPOC Cans Ernest Tony, Carlando Mitchell from Fifth Farms, creative director and co-founder of Gentleman Quinn's Blunt Company, Jarrell Wall, and Safita Artist Mills with the United Empowerment Party. Everybody gave me amazing contributions to this episode, and we really had a chance to dive into some things that we really, really love, which is hip-hop, cannabis, and how much representation matters. And for those who don't know, I also gave my own personal stories about how hip-hop and cannabis met in my life, and how it all happened freshman year in high school, and it was all over a girl. As you always know, something always happens because of a girl. But it's a dope episode. Please, if you get a chance, make sure you subscribe to Cash Color Cannabis on all platforms, whether it's Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever. And make sure you stream this episode. Make sure you share it, tell your friends, drop a comment. I feel like moving forward with the podcast, we're going to be doing a lot more of these long form. We're going to be doing the longer form episodes where we break down a whole series, not necessarily just individual episodes, because I feel like there's more stories to tell, and I think that people consume so much stuff audio-wise that it'd be really dope to do. Plus, also, before I shout out to my boy Jarrell Wall. Jarrell Wall, again, like I mentioned, was one of the featured contributions for this episode, but he had a big part in helping us elevate our production. He did the audio mix. He dropped some music in the background. He made sure the levels was correct. He did amazing work on this episode. So I really want y'all to go out and listen to episode 4. It's amazing, and I can't thank him enough for what he did for that, especially being that he volunteered. How many people volunteer to do kind of work like that? But he emailed me one day. He said, "Yo, Mac, you probably don't know this. My background is in audio. I worked in TV. I worked in radio. I'd love to see if I can help you out with this." And I said, "Brother, say less. What can we do?" And he sent me over some snippets of his idea after I sent him over the raw footage, and I was like, let's go. Let's go. For him to even be able to find the instrumental to Redman's How to Roll a Blunt to match with my story, for real, like he did kind of work like that. Like, he really upped the production level, and I'm definitely gonna be doing more work with Jarrell. Prepare for me to be coming out to Denver and really sitting down and working with you, and let's see if we can do some real Batman and Robin shit when it comes to these podcast series. Because I will be doing another special coming up soon. I can't announce exactly yet because we're still locking in the sponsor, but it's something else that was dear to my heart, and I can't wait to tell this story as well and gather a group of people to tell this story as well. So, I don't even know what to say. I'm really, really proud of what we've been doing when it comes to this podcast and everything that's been happening around it. It's been really an amazing time, and it's showed a lot of growth in what we've been doing. Do me a favor? It's showed a lot of growth in what we've been doing. So thank you again for everybody who's been supporting. Thank you everybody who tuned in tonight to tonight's show. And just recognize that I will be doing a lot more experimental stuff for the podcast, and I hope that y'all continue to enjoy it, continue to support it. And if you have any ideas, feel free to drop me an idea in the DMs. If it's dope, I'd love to see if we could work and collab. If not, it's all good. Maybe it's not for me. But this is Cash Color Cannabis, a high level conversation. Thank you everybody for tuning in.